And then one of the highlights was that thread of Frankie Toner, who had graduated from there and who so many looked to for inspiration, given obviously his sacrifice. And then you go back to the 27th of March, and if you spend any time looking at his heroics that day, and for the Navy, this is particularly poignant because he was an individual augmentee, and we started that. I started that when I was CNO, and when I did, a lot of people looked at me sideways. I mean, I was a CNO, so they didn't look too hard, but like, what are you doing? And it was very simple because of what I'd seen in Vietnam. My expectation the ground forces would bear the brunt, and every sailor I could get into the fight was going to relieve a soldier. No matter how many I put in, the ground forces were still going to bear the brunt of the fight. So the Navy and the Air Force have had thousands in the sand, if you will, since that time frame. And there are 12,000 Admiral Roughheads. There are 12,000 there today, and that continues. So Frankie was after graduation and his training, went to Hawaii, and then was an individual augmentee, and it went over in October of 2008. And then he was tragically killed on March 27, 2009. And tragically and heroically. And only, I mean, if you read about this, you can't do it justice. But I've been to enough of these, I've seen enough of the citations to know that he was basically walking straight into the enemy's fire. Recently, when Deborah and I were at Arlington, when we buried 13 SEALs, and we met all those families at Dover, and two of the wives said to us, you know, my husband would have gotten on that aircraft if he would have known that was going to be his last mission. And that, to me, is an apt description of what Frankie Toner did that day. And we should, and we won't, ever forget that service, that sacrifice, because that is what makes us strong as a military and as a nation. So it is a celebration, and it's one that we should, and I so appreciate so many people who are here, a celebration of a special individual raised in a wonderful family. We have, actually, I think Frankie was number 4, and his dad's number 3, and his grandfather's the junior. Obviously, there's a great-grandfather up there somewhere. Extraordinary family. And he picked, in fact, one of the things John Greenert said today when he took over as CNO, good naval officers learn one thing, at least one thing, always marry up. And we all have. And Frankie did too. And anybody that knows Brooke knows that. So to you, Brooke, you know how strongly we feel about you and about Frankie and what he's done. And to the Toner family, we certainly heard a lot about you. You know, and not insignificant, I pointed out Dick Formica, but Jack Reed has become a dear friend and someone who, one, has a history, having graduated from a service academy himself. What was the name of that? The West Point guy. And that's getting harder and harder to say the closer and closer I get to the end of this tour. But he befriended us and he is a wonderful friend of our military and a superb senator for the people that he represents. And this is one of his absolute best. And in fact, just another thread or two, there's an organization called TAPS that you may or may not know about. If you don't know about it, you ought to know about it, because they are focused on families of the fallen, and then they have an annual conference meeting over Memorial Day. 2,000 family members here this last Memorial Day. And when it started in the 90s, I think the first year there were 10 or something like that. But we also ran into Lieutenant Cho's husband, and Lieutenant Cho died that day with Frankie. Although his heroics were certainly trying to prevent that from expanding. And who else? Where is Carlos Montez? Come here, Carlos. So Carlos was also there that day, and probably would be able to very vividly describe exactly what happened in a much better way than any of us. But we were fortunate to have you there then, and we're blessed to have you here now. And so we just want to say thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know, you want to make a few remarks on
First of all, just want to say Frank Toner was a great friend, a great sailor, and an officer. He's still in my heart. Every day I think of him. And I'm pretty sure friends of ours who are sitting over here from Afghanistan that are also here, you stand up if you can. Orange Dog, Microwave. We're all one. And the military has made us one family. So, thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, pretty special guy, touched a lot of lives, married to a pretty special woman who's touched a lot of lives, and I will in the future, there's no doubt about it. It comes from a pretty special family. And to parents, I always say thanks for raising young men and women who will go do this. We're blessed in a country that so values their service, and it makes so much difference. And Frankie did as well. So, and we know that, and I promise you, we'll never forget, ever forget. So now we can recognize him if you stand.
Attention to award.
This is obviously the award of the Silver Star. There's only one that's higher. And I don't know all the history of what happened originally, but again, and we're a pretty good outfit eventually to get into the right answer. And we were able to do that because we've got good leaders who make sure they take care of their people. So I'd like to read the award. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress on the 9th of July, 1918, amended by Act of 25 July, 1963, has awarded the Silver Star to Lieutenant Junior Grade Francis L. Toner IV, United States Navy, for gallantry in action against the enemy as garrison engineer, Camp Mike Spann Embedded Training Team in Afghanistan, in support of Operation Enduring Freedom on the 27th of March, 2009. While Lieutenant Junior Grade Toner and 3 other officers were conducting physical training around the perimeter of Camp Shaheen, they were attacked by an enemy who had infiltrated the Afghan National Army. In seconds, officers were shot and lying wounded on the ground. The gunman proceeded to shoot one of the wounded officers. Lieutenant Junior Grade Toner, unarmed, verbally challenged the insurgent and continued to advance until he was fatally wounded. Lieutenant Junior Grade Toner's actions distracted the attacker from shooting the second wounded and allowing the 4th runner to seek reinforcements. Lieutenant Junior Grade Toner's distinctive accomplishments are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Navy, and the United States Army. And this is signed by John M. McHugh, Secretary of the Army. This is what it looks like. Nobody better than that. Brooke if she wanted to talk. The body language said no, but she's agreed to.
Okay, first and foremost, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. There's too many people to thank in person, but from the moment I got that knock on the door, which was the worst day of my life, I've been supported by my casualty assistance officer, Ray Freiberger, who's here today. I've been supported by Admiral Mullen, by Admiral Mossy, by all of our friends who have been and wrapped their arms around our family to support us all. And I have never been more grateful for the organization of the Civil Engineer Corps and of the CVs, and for all of you stepping up and really supporting our family in the worst time of our lives. And for not only that, but for all the other losses in the military who've tied me together with other amazing military widows. And I just feel blessed to be here today. And somebody asked me earlier what Frankie would say if he was here today to receive this award. And I had a hard time answering that question. But he would just simply probably say thank you, and that he would hope that any man would do the same, because there have been men who have done the same that he did. And there's so many heroes out there in our military, and all of you are such amazing people for serving our country, and I'm just so grateful for all of you being here. And thank you for being our family now.